today is the 3rd anniversary of Generational Change.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Really?
Yeah.
How did I not know that? We started on the 14th?
Yeah.
Wow.
So 3 years ago.
That's cool. How did I not know that?
Well, you don't know. So yes, it is our 3rd anniversary of a show that somehow is small but mighty, but still going. I mean, we are at over 13,000 subscribers, which we can say is better than about 95% of podcasts.
I suppose. But you know what, though? That's not the. I mean, we wish we had more subscribers, and yes, that would be nice to be getting more of the message out. But I like doing. The reason I like doing it is to meet the people that we get to have on and talk about the things that we talk about. Like, I would love for it to reach more people, but we don't. I mean, I really kind of selfishly started doing it to use the platform to meet authors and experts and people and have them come on and talk to me so I can learn stuff. And that's just basically how it started. So and it's still doing that. Case in point, we have John Nichols coming on tonight, which is very cool.
And Angelica Duenas. So, it's going to be fun. It's going to be like old times, but more like current times.
Yeah. So that's why we do the that's why I do the show.
Well, we also do it to transform politics into service.
Yeah.
That was the whole purpose of the campaign. That was the whole purpose of why we volunteer locally. And of course, it's the whole purpose of what the podcast is really centered on.
Yes, that is our message. That is our mission. However, the method and the medium of podcast does lend itself to me being able to pick brains and gather as much information as possible. And it's amazing that I get to speak to people who get paid to lecture and paid to do stuff, and they'll come on here and talk to me for 45 minutes. And it's very cool. That's why I do it.
Well, we always like to have fun. And so for those of you who have obviously been paying attention to the news, we are obviously there's a lot of different issues that we do center on when it comes to populist left politics, but none bigger than labor. And so we all know about the different strikes that are going on in various places. But of course, the biggest one that's of note at this current moment, again, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. That could change. But as of this moment, the biggest strike in this country right now is SAG-AFTRA with the Writers Guild. That is a huge thing. It's so huge that now it's starting to cut into rich people's profits, and they don't like it very much. And they're starting to show their true stripes, as the saying goes.
I think it's starting to be inconvenient. It's starting to be very inconvenient for those people.
When rich people get inconvenienced,
are you talking about
to get upset?
Yeah. Well, so did you want to do story time? Is that so? We were thinking. I was thinking he wanted to do a story time, and I'm thinking what would really be this? And so I remembered I had done once like a greetings from hypocrisy. So guys, we're going to talk about greetings from Ivory Tower, USA. And this is the stuff that makes me laugh, guys. So I couldn't think of a better way to really encapsulate, because you've got Bill Maher, you've got Drew Barrymore, and to me, it's like I'm thinking in my head, they're scabs, totally. And yet we've talked about this where Bill Maher does make a valid point, which is that there are a lot of other working people dependent on the industry who do suffer when these things happen. That is a valid point. However, I suggest that Bill subsidize those people and stand in solidarity with his writers. You fucking douchebag. That's what I would say.
When you have a net worth of over $140 million, when you have a home in the hills that is valued at over $20 million, you are completely disconnected from reality. And that is the only way to describe it in a nice way without being a jerk. I say that because I've watched Bill Maher for many years. Of course, he's evolved over time. But his true evolution isn't necessarily an evolution. It may just be a true unmasking. Bill has probably always been this way. He's just become a little bit more confident in his ability to espouse his true feelings about things.
It does occur to me that people might not know that what we are specifically referencing is that he is going back. His show is going back on.
As is Drew Barrymore.
As is Drew Barrymore's. And Bill Maher's show, though, and he did put out a statement saying that they're not going to be having any of the monologues. They're not going to be having any original written content. So they're not going to be in violation of the strike. They're just going to be doing panel discussions. And I get that. Technically, he's not in violation of the strike. And he did make a good point about the working people. But I think that people like him to sit there and talk about, talk about that people don't deserve a living, but then you're concerned about those people. It just really shows that you're full of crap, because if you really just cared about it, you would subsidize those people.
You know who did that? Conan O'Brien, who's a heck of a lot funnier and more talented than you are, Bill, with all due respect. And then, of course, you have the very, the princess herself, Drew Barrymore, who is of not Hollywood royalty like the child of a famous actor. She is a fourth generation.
Right. You don't get more uppity. You don't get more high on the ivory tower.
John Barrymore is a Hollywood, how would you describe him? He's a,
one
you
of
could
the
say he's an
original
icon.
people, one
like
of the original people of forming the entire industry in Hollywood.
Yes. That's
The
how
Barrymores are big.
That's how far back this goes.
Yeah.
Like, this is a big deal. And that's not to say that, Drew hasn't had her moments. Obviously, she'll always be the little
So
girl.
is she violating the strike? See, Bill Maher, I don't think, is violating the strike. Like, she's going back. She's having scab writers come on and write.
Not only is she violating it, but she actually had, it was one thing if they were suggesting this idea that they were removing, protesters from her audience, because this could have easily happened. Earlier this week, the way they were describing it was that they had disruptors in the audience. Well, it turns out they weren't even disruptors. They were wearing WGA strike pins, and not only did they have them remove the pins, they kicked them out as well. So that's how pathetic this is. And it also speaks volumes to the fact that they know what they're doing is wrong, and they're doing it anyway. But let's be honest. Is Drew Barrymore any different than The View? Because The View's still going right now, and no one seems to be saying a damn thing about it, including Oscar winner Whoopi Goldberg.
But I don't know. What are I don't know which contracts and what rules apply to the strike. There are different things. There's certain things that are not in violation and certain things that are. So I don't know enough to say who's in violation of the strike. Bill Maher is clearly opting to do it in such a way that he is not, but I don't know what these other shows are doing.
Well, we're going to give you a little taste right now of exactly what that's all about. One of the things that I often point to is that you can usually tell a lot about a person based on their past discretions. And with Drew Barrymore, it doesn't get more obvious than being a Hillary Clinton bundler against Bernie Sanders in the 2016 primary. So that kind of says a lot right there, and more or less suggests that her actions are reflective in the decisions that she makes in the political arena. So you're going to get a little taste of that right now.
Is it true that you went to Dillard's to grab a wedding dress last minute for your wedding?
Yes, it is.
Oh my God, what happened? How many did you try on?
Only one. I found what I wanted. But here's what happened. So
I love this so much. You are so important to me as figures in the world of strength and humanity, shining lights on people.
Well, that's what you're doing, my friend.
Every day, Drew.
That's what you're doing.
We got tickets to the Drew Barrymore show today. We had no clue
there was a strike.
No clue there was a strike. No clue she was changing her statement or anything today. And we showed up and we saw the strike, and we were given pins.
We took our little buttons.
Yeah,
this is what got us kicked out of the Drew Barrymore show.
We were kicked out in the middle of everything after signing
Verbally
it.
assaulted by her security officer. It's really cute that Drew Barrymore claims that she cares about her fans and wants her fans to show up for the show, and then we get kicked out.
Just a reflection, as I've often said, of where we stand right now politically, and it's not good. And that, of course, speaks volumes to the disconnect between the haves and the have-nots, which is, this whole strike you're doing, it's been good for a little while, but it's time to get serious now. The super rich, powerful are not going to cave to your demands, so just accept that you're going to get crumbs. No, I think that a lot of workers in this country are finally starting to get it, and they're not backing down.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.